So we find ourselves in the basement again, at the start of another project, another board, actually a custom board. So I knocked out the Aromatic cedar board the other day as a test, just for fun. It was a good test, I enjoyed it. The Pascoe board that I cut up into an end grain board after remaking a board and sending it to him, that is actually there. It's done. I added feet to it last night, and one of the screws snapped, so that's sitting, and I don't know what to do about it. And it's quite frankly pissing me off because it's right flush with the board. So I'm avoiding that by starting this other project that I need to do. So let's give a quick bit of background on this. One, did you see the new logo? I've decided to rebrand these videos as by themselves, so different titles rather than the other ones. So this board is for a friend of mine from Connecticut. And when I say a friend of mine, I mean someone that I went to school with. So we've known each other, although we lost contact for a while, for a great many years. He's an expat like me. He lives in America, I live in Canada. And he is a bloody good cook. Here's some of his food. Like, he's a good guy, and he does work with a professional chef, although he's not a chef. But he asked me to make him a board. And we've gone back and forth. He doesn't want anything too bright. He likes some of these boards up here. And he's pretty much given me free rein to do what I want with it. But I'm not comfortable with that because he's paying me. Even though I did ask for a fucking discount, the cheeky prick. He did. I'm not comfortable with that because he has to live with it and he's paying me to do work. So I'm going to do what I did before. Is I'm going to pick boards now, put them here. This is the first part of this. I'm just going to pick some boards. Then today's Thursday. Tomorrow, probably lunchtime. Some of the wood I get from KJP. Some of it's 2S. Some of it seems to be almost like 4S in some cases. Some is quite flat, so I won't have to do too much processing. But anything that needs to get processed, I'll process, or I'll joint and I'll plane it. And if I'm planing a board, I'm going to have to plane everything. But most of the wood I've got, which is 120 board feet, is 1 inch thick of different board sizes. So what I'm thinking, I don't think we're not going to go Purple Heart. I do have a little bit of Purple Heart left. That's a good point. Yeah, I do have a little bit of Purple Heart left, as in one board. Sorry for the noise. You know what's annoying is I build a station and I put my tape measure on it, and I buy different tape measures so they stay where they should be, and it's not there. I'm going to have to start Adam Savaging. So this is a 20 inch by 7.5, so I can get something out of that for this. Maybe it's just accent pieces, not as the main thing. I couldn't do it as a main thing because it wouldn't work. Purple Heart, in case you've never worked with it, I now need to take both the blades off of my chop saw and my table saw because this is the world's hardest, heaviest wood, and they're both blunt now from cutting Purple Heart. So that needs to get done. So I'm thinking Purple Heart maybe for some accent pieces. I'm definitely thinking cherry, black Limba, walnut, Paduk. But not too much Paduk, he doesn't want too bright. So let's grab, I've got Aromatic cedar as well, but that's a bit hit and miss, and it does go very pink, and he doesn't really want too much pink, although the purple is purple. But purple, when you get it right and it goes dark, although you can never tell if it's going to do what you want it to do when you oil it. We don't know. So we've got a piece of Purple Heart. Let's get some cherry. Got this lovely piece of cherry, which is probably going to be a foot down. These guys, 4 foot, because it's a 4 foot by like 6. Oh, 4 foot by 8, which is overkill for a board, but I think we can get that down. And looking at it, just from the feel of it, this board is pretty damn, yeah, this board is square, so I don't even have to put this through anything. So this is like cool. I don't have to put this through the joiner. It's already got a square edge on it. It's already got a flat face on it. I can just rip this. But this is where we come into some problems. Well, not so much problems. No, it's not problems. I'm like, if the boards are different thicknesses, it doesn't really matter because I'm always going to cut them at the same length anyway, or the same thing. Right. So that's our cherry. So we've got Purple Heart cherry. I think we're going to need. I've got 2 types of walnut. I've got Peruvian walnut and I've got, I think, right, let's get some walnut. Right, we've got 2 walnuts. Let's check out this first one. Looks like it's got a bit of a bend on it and it does need to go through. It's going to need to go through a plane. No, square as you like. So that's one type of walnut we're going to use. I don't like that roughness, but as we're going to be somewhere here, I'm not worried. And then this is a different type of walnut, which looks like it's got a bit of a fucking bend in it, but it's a completely different colour. It might be quite hard to see, but it is a different colour. Yeah, it's got a real giggling, real on that one. So maybe the Purple Heart gets thrown out for this one. We're going to go cherry, walnut, 2 different types of walnut, and then Limba and Paduk. Of course, we're not using these full boards for this thing. I think I have to can't remember, was it, he wants 20 by 18? So that shouldn't be so bad. Right, we need some Limba and we need some Paduk. Hey. Now, we don't want it too funky. This is Paduk. What we're looking like for this. Yeah, we're looking bloody. I love Paduk. This shit stays straight. We ain't gonna need too much of this Paduk. Now the Limba is interesting. The Limba has some very interesting figuring on this board, and more so on this rather bent, horrible board. It's got a bit of yellow in it, which is kind of funky. I'm wondering if we do. It's not going to be a book match. I'm thinking about maybe of switching these out. Right, these ones with the yellow splashes in them. I'm gonna have to. Right, these are going to be for a different project. But the Limba, I think I'm going to do a kind of weird, different project. I'm already getting ahead of. Oh, this is. Oh, okay, it's got yellow on the side on that one. Ah, okay. Now we are going to use that. Right. That sucks. I want to use that piece. This has got this yellow figuring through the middle, so we're definitely going to keep this. And I think when I cut, because of this, when I cut the strips, because it's all going to be on end, we might get some really funky, funky yellow splashes through it, which would be quite nice with the Paduk highlight. But these boards are bent as a 10 bob bit. Yeah, they're absolutely cack-eyed. And I don't want to process this too much because one, more work. But I'm thinking, even if it is a bit bent, if I can still get it down to size, which is 2 foot, get it down to 2 foot, mark it, go through, pick this. Well, I don't want to pick the sections. I'll probably go end, middle. I don't need to go 2 foot. I want 20 something. See, this bit's right in the middle, so it's a bit of a pain because you end up with this thing and you've got this rough bit. Whereas this bit's quite nice. Can I get it out of that? Yeah, just. And this is the joy. This one here, I can easily get 2 foot out of it with the yellow on it. So stay tuned. New project. It's called the Ford. This one's going to be called the Ford board because it's for Ford, Mr. Ford. So Paduk, Limba, 2 different types of walnut, and some cherry. I'll start getting this processed, and you'll see me processing it. Hopefully I don't have to do too much. There's a lot of boards I've just got in that I need to process 100%, split to 2 foot, and basically S4S it, which is surface 4 sides to make sure all of my boards are flat. But the problem with doing that, and I'm going to normally okay, let me back up. Normally what I would do is process all of my wood so it's all the same thickness. All I've got to do is just chop it up when I need it. This is a custom board for someone, so I'm not going to process all of the wood. I'm just going to process the wood that I actually need, and I'm going to try and do as little processing as possible to try and keep the thickness that I want. Does that make sense? Stay tuned. We'll figure it out. Or I'll figure it out. And you can watch me figure it out. Peace. Take care. Oh, bye-bye.